Welcome to Access Abundance. On this podcast, we give our best advice, trainings, and mindset shifts so that you can grow richer in business and spirit. Co-hosts, and we got Noah. Wait, I'm Noah. That's Liz. And, let's just get into it. What's this episode look like, Liz?
Here is the framework for today's episode. So, where did the 40-hour work week come from and why it's not sustainable in 2022? The difference between being an influencer versus being an entrepreneur and why it's important to differentiate and also to plan based on that. Everything is energy. What is energy? How does it relate to business and ways to protect your energy? And then the last thing is going to be why it's important to treat content creation like you're already getting paid. So, let's dive right in. Where did the 40-hour work week come from? So, the 8 hours of work, 8 hours of play, and 8 hours of sleep was coined by a socialist in the early 1900s, which was great at that time for factory workers who were used to working a minimum of 14-hour manual labor days. But for the current day, it's impossible to be productive sitting at a desk for 8 hours. So if you're trying to squeeze 8 hours of work into your day, you're going to reach burnout really quickly. So setting your schedule based off of that 8-hour workday can be really dangerous for your mental health and even your productivity levels. So doing busy work for the sake of being busy just isn't helping anything.
Right, and it gives you that false sense of, I'm doing something right now. But you're just deleting emails out of your inbox or something like that. It's not...
Just wasting time.
Yeah, pretty much.
For the sake of wasting time.
Yeah. And the only downside of the entrepreneurial schedule is that there is no measure of productivity. There's no one to look up to get them to say, yeah, you did a good job today. Go home. Clock out. And that's the hardest part because no one's checking up on you. It's all coming from yourself, and you have to validate your own work. And if you've struggled with validating yourself to begin with, then that's going to be a big challenge for you up front. So, as far as the 8-hour workday, I think 3 hours of solid work every single day is much more reasonable as a creator, and spending the rest of the day taking care of yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it because you think about all that time, taking care of yourself, not reaching that burnout level, you'll be able to produce more and just give more, and that will reflect in your business.
Exactly. 8 hours of work, it might sound sexy because more is more, but yeah, if you're not if you're making content, but your heart's not in it because you've been working all day, then you're not getting the most out of it. So, I agree.
Yeah,
so
that will also reflect. So, if you're just feeling that burnout, people can tell.
Yeah.
It may not be a surface level thing that you can immediately tell, but just the energy that you're putting behind it is different.
Yeah. So, we brought up the entrepreneurial schedule, and we have something we want to talk about today, how people show up online. So, a lot of people who begin this entrepreneurial journey think that they are an influencer and that's how they show up online. So talk to me, what is an influencer versus an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So it's a big difference. It kind of can feel the same just because you guys are both in that social media space. You're both sharing things that are relevant to your life. But an influencer creates content just to share their personal lives or their hobbies or things that they're purchasing or kind of just whatever they feel like sharing. So the main focus of an influencer is for audience growth. And then as an entrepreneur, they will create content to share value, to heal pain points, to create compelling future visions, and will also create content based on what their ideal client needs to hear. So sales is more of the main focus as opposed to audience growth. So this is really important. We'll touch on this a lot, but those number metrics, always checking for those likes, that doesn't matter. That's not filling your bank account. So It's really irrelevant. That's an ego thing. Yeah, it's nice to get those, but in reality, not necessary.
And I was doing that yesterday. I was I made a post. I kept checking my likes, and I was I was seeking that validation. Is this good enough? But that's not your goal as an entrepreneur. You're trying to help people and make sales, versus posting about your coffee in the morning, and that's it. That's not gonna drive more business. But Yeah. So I was thinking today, and this kind of just came to me. Being an entrepreneur to me, I think it's very beautiful because you're opening yourself up to receiving all kinds of energy and sharing your energy or you're sharing your vibes with other people if that resonates a bit more in a way that feels aligned with your vision and where you want to go and what you want to produce. And by energy, I just mean, anything from money, relationships, self-growth, love, all those mushy gushy things. So yeah, you can't expect to receive as much energy or specifically money without giving someone the opportunity to send you energy through the form of like your product or your service. So I know you were dealing with that, trying to transition to becoming a coach and
yeah, this is like something this is this internal conflict I keep having, like, oh, why doesn't anyone like want to buy anything from me, but I'm over here like not selling anything.
You don't have anything to buy.
Yeah, so like you just gotta, there's a fine line between like just trying to shove your product down someone's throat and like soft selling, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and also just like creating valuable content, which we're going to talk about in a minute as well. But riffing off what you're talking about, energy and vibes, so talking about giving, like being open to giving, being open to receiving, we also have to be very conscious of protecting your energy. So some things that I've learned the hard way, I would say, is one, just learning to say no to people. So learning to say no to things that don't feel like a full body hell yes, like saying no to things that you don't have energy for. So that is a huge thing in and of itself. We can talk about that. But learning to say no, like it's okay to say no. So getting out of that people pleaser.
You don't have to say yes to every single opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have trouble with that.
Yeah, there's always more opportunities coming your way, and it's not like one thing passes you by and that's the end. So
right.
Something else, so don't be afraid to reschedule commitment. So Noah and I have been working on stuff together, and I feel like we've been really clear about this from the start, like how we want this podcast to go, like how we want this book that we're writing to go. And when we don't have the energy to work on something maybe that we promised to work on, like I'll just text him and be like, yo, like I'm not feeling it today. And it's just so well received because it's authentic, it's wholehearted, and like we both know that we're coming from a place of like self-care and not laziness. So
right, the toxic productivity, like you're not working today. Like no.
So that also like ties into just communication. So just being clear like on what you want, like how you're feeling, and expressing yourself in any of those ways. So yeah, just being honest, like, for what's coming up for you in the moment, because you never know, like, yeah, I'm excited to work on these things, but, like, maybe I wake up one day and I'm just, like, really feeling like shit, and it's just not gonna happen. So, again, coming back to that 8-hour workday, just not trying to force something for the sake of forcing it. Not every day is gonna be the same, not every day is gonna be a productive day, and that's totally okay. And then the last thing I think is the most important thing, this also ties into saying no, but just avoiding people who drain your energy. There's some people that just love to suck your energy. And so just being careful, being conscious of that. Like, even if it's someone that you love, near and dear to you, like, sometimes it's just really hard to expend that energy or be there to listen to them.
It's tough sometimes with family, too. It's like, what do you even do at that point?
That communication always comes back to that, knowing your limits, knowing your boundaries, and setting them and being firm in them. So, so shifting out of that, I want to talk a little bit more about soft selling I just mentioned. So, soft selling is kind of posting in your stories or making a post about it and just using subtle language and non-aggressive techniques, because out there, like, everyone's got something to sell, and so you kind of want to work on sharing more of your story. So, like, if you're selling a service, just kind of talking about how that's helped you in your own personal life and just relating it back to that. So instead of telling someone how they should do something, just coming back to yourself and sharing that experience.
This is how I did this,
Yeah.
or this is how I helped someone do this, and that, versus saying, hey, you should do this. If someone tells you that, you're immediately going to think, okay, asshole, I don't want to listen to you. So, just coming from a place of I is just better received, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, when it comes to content creation, I think you mentioned it already, right? Creating content like you're already getting paid.
Yeah.
So what does this mean, right? So this means giving out your best stuff for free, whether it's knowledge, whether it's whatever it is, whatever you think that you have to hide in order to make a sale, you actually want to give it out for free so that people know they can trust you, right? And you might have the resistance to, let's just say, give out a secret to someone because you're afraid that by doing that you're going to lose customers. But in thinking that way, you actually are adopting something called a scarcity mindset, and you're believing that there is not an abundance of people, opportunities, money, all that stuff.
Knowledge.
Right. But when you actually give out your best shit for free, you attract more people. So it actually works the opposite way. So don't be afraid that you don't have any more to give by giving out your best stuff. And you may be giving out a lot of good information, but if someone chooses to work with you for your service or your product, then they're typically looking for specific help implementing this info with their current situation, because everyone's different, everyone's going through something different, so they're going to reach out to you for that expert advice. And the reason why you want to just put out your best stuff for free is because everyone's creating content. So how are you going to stand out from everyone else? You have to show up as your best self. So when you do this as well, you're building trust, especially if you're starting something new. So if you're just a random Joe Schmo guy who has no experience doing this new business or having this new service that you're giving out, how can you expect people to trust that you're going to give what you deliver? So, don't you feel more comfortable purchasing something from someone you know, right? And you can get to know people through watching their content. And yeah, you'll never know who's watching your stuff too. So that's the thing. It's like you don't have that validation immediately. So it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It creates like a one-way relationship, which I go into it a lot more in the ebook. Just that parasocial relationship.
I like that soft selling right there.
Yeah.
You see that, guys? Write that down.
So yeah, let's talk about 3 different types of content creation. So
Okay.
just kind of a vague statement about this. There's 3 different ways. So something educational, so you're teaching someone something. There can be motivational, so making someone feel better about themselves in some kind of way. So again, this could be relating back to you or something that made you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also like entertaining, so something silly or like just going with one of those viral trends. Like that can be very helpful. And
it could be a meme. I've posted memes and gotten paid for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like having a variety of those 3 things is, I think, the best way to approach your content creation. And so examples of...
Give me something specific.
Yeah.
What can I use today?
So my favorite thing, we've both been implementing this, is the to-do list for the day on the stories, which I also feel kind of like helps coming back to that entrepreneurial schedule, because it's almost like I put it on my story, so I gotta do it.
Oh yeah, it holds you accountable.
Yeah, so like no one cares. No one's like texting you like, "Hey, did you film your podcast today?"
You
like,
faker.
But like it's kind of a level of accountability for myself, and I feel like it's fun for me to like just show you guys what I'm doing in the morning. Like, hey, you want to see my face today? Hey, you want to
just a reminder?
You want to see what I'm having for breakfast? Like, like just saying hey, popping in, seeing what you're up to. This is what I'm up to today.
What's something else? Give me something else.
So, lifestyle content. So, you should always be recording things that you're doing every day. We love that B-roll. So, if you own a small business, say a product business, and part of your day is packaging up your orders and shipping them out, record yourself packing up a box and then going to the post office. Like, that's a huge thing. That could be a few posts in one.
Yep.
And then, if you want to use it for something like lifestyle, so just kind of a shot of that B-roll content, doing like a text or voiceover thing where you're agitating your ideal client's pain points and then just giving a free solution for something simple. So again, coming back to that, talking about yourself. This is how I handled this, as opposed to you should do it this way.
Right. So I feel like this is very important. So I want to say it again. When you are showing up consistently, whether it's posting stories every day or making an actual post, you're literally just reminding people you exist. Yes, you're going to reach new people, but your followers obviously already know what you do because they follow you. So if you can remind people every single day that you exist, they are eventually going to buy from you if you can help them. Versus maybe you post once a week, and we know everyone's not on social media every single day. So by you posting every Wednesday, you're only reaching the people who scroll Instagram Wednesday, let's say. So we want to find a way where we can show up consistently, even if it's, like we said, posting a to-do list for the day. Something very small, and people often shy away from posting every day because they might feel, oh, I'm just being super salesy. I feel like an icky car salesman. Nobody wants to buy from me anyway. Those are self-defeating thoughts that aren't helping you in any way. And so, yeah, I want to go back and define what are pain points, because I know we talked about implementing, talking about pain points, showing your lifestyle content. Okay, what are pain points? Honestly, any little or big problem your customer or client has. So, if you're a marriage counselor, the pain point could be, oh, I feel like my marriage is failing. Or a pain point could literally just be like standing in line for too long. Anything, literally anything. Do they want to make more money? Do you help them make more money? That could be a pain point. And agitating those pain points, reminding people that they have a problem, but that you can fix it, is really effective marketing and sales. Versus just saying, hey, I'm here to help you achieve this result. Right? Because people often act out of fear, right? So if you get fired from your job and your rent is due, you are going to find a way to make the money versus anything else. Honestly, like if you just had a really, really good month as an entrepreneur, I face this problem. The next month, you probably are super chill and relaxed and you don't do as good. So now you're back into fear mode. So people are often going to act out of fear. So if you can remind them that, hey, you have this problem. Remember, hey, guess what? Oh, but I can help you this way. I'm just reminding you I'm here to help. So that's very effective marketing. So that's that's a little long definition of what pain points are, because people always ask me like, what is my client's pain? I don't know what their pain is. It's literally just like any problem.
Yeah, and I think a little bit more on that. Sometimes the people that you're marketing to don't know exactly what they need. Yeah. So, like, again, you could be marketing to someone, like, who's looking to make more money, but in reality, they need, like, help with regulating their nervous system. So, you kind of don't want to make your sale or offer too complex for someone to understand. So, you kind of want to, like, bring it down to a digestible and understandable level for your client.
Yeah, keeping it simple is definitely the key, right? Because if we show up online and let's say, that's why I'm trying to define everything we talk about, because we can't assume that you know what a pain point is, for example. Because if we assume that and we use these big words that make us feel like we're smarter than you, you might not even receive the message. So, like, literally the richest people in the world keep it as simple as they can. Yeah. So
Consistency,
simplicity, all the icities, all of them together combined. So, do we want to talk about anything else, or is that it for this episode?
Honestly, I think we should keep it short. We could keep it light. And,
okay.
We'll get ready for episode 3.
Perfect. Okay, well, that's episode 2. You guys can connect with us on Instagram we have an Instagram for the podcast, actually, at access_abundance. Or you can follow me at Noah Crawford CEO, or you could follow Liz
at The Pizza Hippie.
Can't forget that. And just a little closing, we aren't running ads here, of course not, but we want to ask, do you know anyone who could benefit from listening to this show? If so, please share with them, send them a message, tag them in a post, whatever you can do. We want to put out as much value as we can. We want to give you stuff that you can use to help yourself and make more money. So anytime you share your recommendations, all that stuff, it goes a long way helping other people, not just us, even though of course we're going to be selfish. So, thanks for listening. And that's episode 2. Talk to you in the next one.